welcome back to another collector's discussion. Today will be Sideshow Con 2023. This is by far my most anticipated release from this event, which is David from the Lost Boys. This was a complete shock to even know that they were releasing this. I was actually fishing around for the third party Redman Toys, I believe, which is a recast of Rayman's work. I was actually looking for that and trying to do maybe a little customization to root the hair for the mullet, but this just popped out of nowhere and I've scrapped that idea. I'm 100% going for this one now. And just quickly, I done a previous video based on Mondo's reviews at SDCC, so if you want to check them out and my opinions on just the horror lines there, it will be linked in the description and in the end cards and in the comments down below. Also, I have gotten my Trick or Treat Studios Sam, which will be reviewed and unboxed in a couple of days, and also some slight customizations here and there for that. So if you guys want to check that out, just be wary, because that will be there. And I'll pretty much end my rambling and get straight into the short little tease here. So if you guys do enjoy this, make sure to like and sub, and we'll get right into it. So I'm just going to keep it on mute and just loop the video, just talk shit about it. I really like it. I think it looks really, really good. What's interesting here is it looks like he's on a magnetic base, because I don't see the crotch grabber to hold him up, and I doubt with this particular figure the boots are going to be very stable. That's also awesome too, with the floating almost upside down base. So I'm going to run it a bit more slow motion now, just to see a bit more details. So it looks like he comes with the little Chinese rice box, which is awesome, with all the worms and just all the disgusting shit that he had in that scene. The coat looks good. The jacket actually looks pretty good. I hope it's real leather, but I doubt it will be. Again, this is interesting. This looks like it's on a magnetic base, and I think you can see a really quick shot where it looks like it magnetizes when the guy puts it down on the base, which I love the magnetic bases. I've never had a problem with any of them. I have caustic plastic figures. I have the in-art Joker. I've also had custom stuff here and there that had magnetic poles that attached to the back. See, the way he's planted it down like that leads me to believe that it's most likely a magnetized base. Again, I love the idea. I hope more companies start doing that. I actually want Hot Toys to start to do that as well. I think it's the next step to just get rid of that crotch grabber. It's a hindrance to most figures, and it is pretty destructive to most materials. This being, this figure has pleather, I'm pretty sure. That's not going to be real leather pants. Same with the jacket, probably. It looks good. It's just a waiting game of when it rots, but I have now the fix to touch up leather as well. So it looks like it comes with all the accessories that you would want David to have. I'm probably going to pose him with this though, the prosthetic mask. Yeah, that's amazing with the base like that, hanging him upside down. Although his ankle joints have to be pretty strong to have him not only floating, but having upside down like that. It's a nice elevation, but that might be a bit scary. But I'm just shocked that we're getting more horror stuff this year. It seems like a lot of these companies are smashing out horror now. This might actually have to do a lot with the writer's strike. Horror's pretty cheap to get a license to. Most of them are indie movies, and due to the strike, we'll probably get a lot of figures we will never expect to come out. Maybe Sideshow are just massive fans of Lost Boys. And actually, you know what else I would love? I would love Fright Night figures, or even a Candyman. I would really love a Candyman, because the way my module cases are going to be set up now is I will have a vampire only case, and this guy's going in there, the Bela Lugosi, Christopher Lee, Nosferatu. I would love to have a Candyman in there as well as David here. So there's actually some better high-res photos here that Sideshow themselves put up. I really like it. I think it's pretty much a home run in terms of Sideshow quality. And I know a lot of people seem to dig on Sideshow. I have only one figure, so I'm only judging based on the pretty lady Leatherface that I have. And going by that figure, I really like that. So I assume this is going to be just as good as that. It seems like horror and Sideshow go, you know, really good together. I haven't yet to see a recent horror figure from Sideshow be absolutely terrible. Some of their old stuff, like their old Freddys and Jasons, they're over 5-6 years old, so they're not the best in terms of holding up now. But I think their later stuff has been fairly decent, and I think this head sculpt, some people have voiced their complaints about it. I think in terms of Sideshow, it's the best you're going to get, and I think this is really good. Sideshow usually, prototype the final is usually good. Like their Eric Draven the Crow, I didn't like the head sculpt, but I think it turned out exactly identical to the prototype, and I would hope to assume this would as well, because this is something that I actually think they nailed. You know, the jacket is pretty good, just standard stitching. The actual leather jacket looks interesting because, yeah, it's interesting how it looks. I don't know if that is pleather or if it's fabric. Interesting to see when I get this in hand and what this texture is and what this material is. Obviously the pants is 100% pleather, you can just tell by the look. This doesn't look pleather, so maybe it is a leather grain, or maybe they've just gotten rid of that fabric altogether and replaced it with something else. And like I said with the video, this does look like a magnetized base because there's no crotch grabber, and I doubt with these boots they're going to just have it free standing like that. That's a big risk. Hopefully it is, because I think that's a nice simple base. It's a tiny base, but to be fair, Sideshow bases aren't the best. They got the hexagonal shit ones that have no print on them. I prefer this. Just get rid of those hexagon bases altogether. And you can fit more stuff in a D12 module case with a much smaller, simple base. But you can see the pants are obviously pleather, you can tell just by the look. But then you go to something like the jacket texturing. There is something different about the look of this jacket. And if it is pleather, then it's a really unique cut. And then obviously you got the vampire transformation. Yeah, I really like this look. This is probably the look I'm going to go for. Pretty much when his brother gets killed and he kind of like burns, his hand burns up. I really like that shot of the film, and I'll probably replicate that. But yeah, overall, aside from the pleather, I don't see any faults with it. Well, the pleather is a fault, but I can personally work around with it, especially now with having like acrylic leather paint to touch it up. And it's also a complaint I give the Hot Toys, so I'm not going to be biased just because I like this movie. It's a complaint I regularly give the Hot Toys as well. And this is the last photo here. And oh yeah, so you get the vampire like nails and hands. Let me just go back. Okay, so he's got gloved hands, and then he's got the exposed hands with almost like a werewolf look. But obviously he's a vampire, isn't a werewolf. But yeah, I don't see any big complaints about this. This might be Sideshow's best figures. You know, I really like their Leatherface, but this might outshine that. And these head sculpts are really good as well, so I don't have a problem with them. They're done by, I think Yixi, if I believe correctly, which Yixi did a few Hot Toy sculpts here and there, so he's a very well-known sculpt artist, and I think he's done a good job with these protos. And yeah, overall, I'm really excited for this. I love the fact that we're getting more unique characters and unique IPs, so everyone's shelf doesn't look the same. And I'm really excited to eventually build my module cases up and have my horror wall basically behind me to just show off all the pieces I have. And I think this would be a great addition. And yeah, that's pretty much it for today. Eventually when this goes up for pre-order, I assume they're going to show everything. They'll explain what the base is, if it is magnetized, or if they're going to bring the crotch grabber one back out. The accessories, they'll probably have maybe more. I'm also interested with the upside down, like, cave base, and hopefully the pre-order listing explains that a bit more. And yeah, that's pretty much it for today. If you guys did enjoy this, make sure to like and sub, and I'll see you in the next one.